Hello. Sorry, there was a notification on as I hit go live that I had to read. Anyway, I've just kind of realized that uploading videos that I've recorded and edited takes me a lot of time. And so maybe it's just easier for me to do live updates whenever I have the chance. So, thought I would do a live update on where I am with things in my life. And so here I am. Today is July 22nd, 2024. Um, I was supposed to have a CAT scan last week, and stupid things happened. Confusion between the hospital and the insurance company, and so I didn't have one done. But I'm going to have one done next Friday. And then next Sunday, not this coming Friday, but the next Friday, and then the following Sunday after that, I'm heading to Mexico to pick up my tonic and diet plan and supplements from a clinic down there that has a tonic that's supposed to cure cancer. We'll see. Um, it's worth a try. It's relatively inexpensive, and I get a short trip to San Diego as a result. So I'm kind of excited about that. My brother and his girlfriend are going with me. Um, I could use a little bit of a break. I did just come home from my dad. Well, not just, but been back from my dad's house a little over a week now. I spent a week with him, went camping, went to a baseball game, had a really good time. And really, while I was there, I really started thinking about, um, my future and what kind of future I have. And I don't know. I've heard of people who have been cured of stage 4 colon cancer. And I've heard of people who have fought the battle for about 3 or 4 years and lost the battle. Matter of fact, there's somebody, I have a YouTube channel that I started watching back when I was first diagnosed, and it's Dr. Dan Says. And he had, I believe it was colon cancer. It was diagnosed in 2020. And he is currently in the last day or two of his life. Um, he is losing, is in the process of losing the battle. Depending on how you look at it, I guess. I guess if you're a Christian, you're not losing any battles, you're gaining the victory over death. Um, so I just started thinking, since I don't know what my timeline is, I have no idea. It's really important, I believe, for me to find a solution to worry. I this house that I live in, I kept the house in my divorce, and I'm coming up on the time where I need to make the decision to either sell it or refinance it. Found out that if I refinance it, my monthly payments will probably go from what I'm paying now, which isn't a small amount, but it's but to for about $4,200 a month. And I fighting cancer as a real estate agent with not a fixed kind of paycheck. Um, I don't know that I would have the energy or the strength to really go hard, heavy on really pursuing real estate as I should in order to be successful at it. And so, what do I do? The options are I can sell my house and go into a rental, which that's a viable option. I could do that. But I'm still faced with having to pay rent if my health declines, and having to move at some point in the future anyway if my health declines. So why make two moves? So, my current decision, and I'm firm. I'm finally firm in this decision. I've agonized and agonized and agonized over this decision for a number of months now. But I have decided that I am going to move to Missouri and live with my dad. So the next battle I have to overcome is my ex-husband going to allow me to take my daughter with me? He's currently thinking about it. But I need to know now. I found out from my attorney today that if I am going to have to fight a battle with the court and get an answer by the time that I want to leave, then I need to file my paperwork like now. So the current hurdle that I have to overcome is either A, getting the ex to agree to let me bring my daughter, or fighting the battle in court and hoping that the courts will let me take her with me. So, I mean, honestly, if I'm being honest and reasonable, I could understand why the ex wouldn't want me to take her with me. But if I was in his shoes, it would be a tough decision for me to make. But knowing that that person's life is probably not going to be, you know, very, is going to be over soon. I figured, for the sake of my daughter, I would want her to spend the last number of years with that parent for her sake, so that she can have the memories, so she can, um, you know, really get to know the parent before their time is up. And it would suck to lose, the day to day with my daughter in that situation, but I would hope that I would be caring and loving and compassionate and Christian enough to make that decision for my daughter. Not for me, but for my daughter. However, the ex is not a Christian. The ex is very self-centered, selfish person. So what will he decide? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he'll surprise me. It's possible. So I will be moving in the next few months, getting rid of the house that I love. When I bought this house, my desire was to stay in it until I died. Well, I could still make that happen, but I didn't expect there to be a young child involved in that decision. And when I thought that, when I had that thought, and there is, I have to think about her. And even if I can't take her with me, I know that the right thing to do is for me to move, because I don't want to have to struggle. I know the stress of just, of worrying about money um, is not conducive to me healing. Going to dad's house, I won't have to worry about money. I'll always have a roof over my head, unless, of course, something happens to him and his wife and my stepmother. But I can't entertain that what if. I have to just assume that he's going to remain healthy, that she's going to remain healthy, and I'll have a roof over my head, someone to take care of me, and ensure that whatever is left of my life is good. So I could be cured. And if I'm cured, if I'm healed, if I go into remission at some point in the future, well, then I might come back here and start up my real estate again and get my daughter back. Well, hopefully not get my daughter back, but hopefully come back with her. And life will go on. Then the life that I had dreamed of before cancer could continue. And that's a possibility. I'm not one of these people, though. So many people go into this, they're like, I'm going to think positive. I'm going to believe that I can be healed, and I'm going to live my life as though I'm going to be healed. And my brain just won't let me do that, because to me, it's almost like living a lie, because I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's not true, but I don't know that it is true. And I don't like living a lie. I don't like living with false hope. So what I'm living with is, I'm hopeful that I can be cured, and I'm going to do whatever I can holistically to be cured, and wait on God to provide me with a miracle. But I also know that God doesn't owe me a long life. He doesn't owe me being cured. And I know that His plans are not known to me regarding that. So I have to be realistic and understand, and in the back of my head realize that, you know, plenty of very devout Christians who love the Lord with all their hearts die young. So, and that could be me. So I'm hopeful, but I don't live in false hope. Now, people say that, a positive attitude goes a long way with a cancer battle. Well, I would like to have that positive attitude, but my brain just, it's not how my brain works. My brain works in what I know to be reality, and I've already explained the reality of the situation. So if anyone chooses to pray, which I would love it if you would, if you could pray that I can take my daughter with me and that I could spend some good years with her. One thing I was going to say is the stress of worrying about money in my life and the possibility of it ending soon. It's creating. I don't feel like I'm able to get back to who I was before I was married, personality wise. You know, Part of the reason of divorcing the man I was married to was I was becoming just a shell of myself. I wasn't, I was losing my happiness. I was losing my joy. I was losing hope in life. And, I wanted to get back to the personality I was before, where I was always so positive and hopeful, and I was kind of goofy and kind of fun, and um, I really enjoyed life. And I had dreams and hopes, and I believed that life would be good. All I had to do was just work at it, and life would be good. But I lost sight of that, being in a marriage that was a terrible, horrible, abusive marriage. So when I got divorced, I felt like, okay, now I have the opportunity to get back who I was. And then cancer happened. And I feel like I'm right back where I was when I was married. I don't feel happy. I feel irritated a lot of the times. My daughter, I struggle to feel a deep connection with her. And it's not her fault. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm just so concerned about, am I going to be able to pay bills? And, I've got a certain amount of money because I did pretty good with real estate the first half of this year. The second half isn't looking so good. So I'm like, I've got money to get me through until this time. What happens when that time is here? And that's what you always worry about when you have these type of jobs. Unless you just make a whole bunch, to get you through a couple of years, then you feel pretty good about it. But, and I just want to get to a place where I'm not stressed and I'm not having to worry. And as a Christian, I'm not supposed to worry. God has taken care of me through this whole process, through divorce and everything else, and all the different landmarks. When I had to go on 100% my own money, I had to go off his bank account. I was scared to death. From that time until now, I've never missed any bills. I always had enough money. At one time, I had to take money out of a retirement account, but I always had money. And I'm sure that would be the case. I'm sure God would take care of me as he always has. But there's still a level of stress in that kind of life. And to battle cancer, you need to not be living in stress. So, all of that to say, my next move is moving back home. I am going to sell everything I have. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I wouldn't have been at one time. But I feel good about that, actually. I feel good about selling everything I have because, if I do go into remission and I do have to start over, I need to either get into a new home. I don't know if I'll be able to buy one, but should be able to rent one pretty easily. Um, I can buy all new things, and everything in that house will only ever have been mine. I'll have never had to share it with someone I was in a bad marriage to. So that's kind of exciting, you know, a true start over, a true do over, if I can get there. And if I can't, then I'm going to spend a few good years in a relatively stress-free environment, in a really nice place, with horses and country environment, around family, not far from my son, my older son. I don't know if I'll be far from my younger son. He's going into the military. But it'll be a good few years until I go home to be with my Lord. So I'm excited. Um, there's some hurdles to overcome between now and then, but I feel good that I can overcome them. And it's not me that's overcoming anything. I have no ability to overcome. It's my Lord Jesus who is the overcomer. He is victorious, and he fights all my battles. And I will tell you, for all the battles that I've had since this whole nightmare of the last couple of years of my life has started, really the last 5, 6, 7 years, um, he's been with me. He's helped me. The outcomes have always been better than I expected. And I look back on that, and that is encouraging. I know when cancer started, the whole cancer thing, I remember when I was contemplating the surgery and I'd heard other people's stories of their surgery. And man, some people go through some really tough surgeries and their recovery is terrible and horrible things happen after the surgery. And none of that happened. I had surgery and everything turned out beautifully, really. Um, and, you know, and just everything has turned out better than I expected. And maybe my battle with cancer will as well. So prayers are always welcome. I'm happy to pray for you if you have anything that you would have like for me to pray about for you. And pray for my mental status as well, because I am going through some challenges. I'm struggling, like I said, to be happy and to find joy in life. And I want to. I want to be happy and I want to find joy no matter what my circumstances. Paul said, no matter if basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but whether I'm high or I'm low, I've learned to be content. And that's my goal for the next however long my life is to be content wherever I am. And so I'm working on that. If you could send me some prayers, that I would be greatly appreciated. So here is your update. And thank you for watching and listening. And I'll see you next time.